This week I want to talk about one single word, and that word is solidarity. For generations and generations and generations, the authorities and all the colonial powers have used this tactic of divide and rule to line their own pockets, cement their position of authority and run things the way that they want them, in their own interests. It's why British colonialists in India pitched Muslims against Hindus, against Sikhs. It's why across Africa and South America, local communities had their differences emphasised, stereotyped and often fabricated to create a situation in which people thought that their biggest enemy was their neighbour, while the colonialist powers were stripping the land of natural resources, enslaving people and taking what they wanted from the situation. It continues to this day. It's why the biggest thing that serves the patriarchy is what the so-called culture wars, convincing LGBT communities and feminists that their biggest enemy is one another. It's why when we hear about the tube strikes which we've got coming up, one of the first things you'll hear is, well, you know, the tube drivers, they get paid more than nurses, right? That's the reason why we should be on the side of nurses and asking for nurses to be paid more. And in actual fact, when tube drivers are paid more, that actually helps nurses. That actually means that everybody's wages are gradually rising. It means that everybody has a little bit more to spend. In fact, that helps comedians because it's more likely that both tube drivers and nurses will have enough spare income to come to a comedy show. It helps everybody in our community when we raise the overall standard of living. We should never be tricked into thinking that somehow tube drivers and nurses are in competition with one another. A third of the world's money sits in tax havens. And Keir Starmer in his budget is doing nothing about it. Instead, he's buying into that rhetoric that somehow it's immigrants who are taking the resources and that's who we're in competition with when it comes to funding education and the health service and these other vital parts of our social structure. We have to present a united front and continue to fight together for a better and fairer society, because what benefits one of us in fact benefits all of us. And that's why we come back to this key value, solidarity. And I just urge everyone to take a moment to question who we're actually focusing our rage on. Because we do have the power ultimately if we all come together to run things the way that serves us and lines our pockets and makes our lives better. Solidarity. See you next week. Increasingly, the mainstream media is terrible at informing the public of what is really going on. I'm only able to make these videos because people are generous enough to sponsor me making them, and if you're able to be a part of that, I would hugely appreciate it. It can cost as little as $1 a month and you'll get loads of fun bonus content and lots of extras from me and my undying gratitude. I also massively appreciate it if you're able to like, share these videos and let people out there know what's going on.